This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons, and of course Michael, sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. You still want to listen? Go right ahead. I am not your mother.
All right, welcome back for all of you who are still with us after the bullshit we've said. For the first 11 weeks, this is week 12 of the 2001 New England Patriots season, where the Pats go to travel to, is it Meadowlands Stadium back then? I believe so. To face the New York Jets, the 7-3 AFC East co-leaders, New York Jets. The Pats at 6-5 right behind them, tied with the Dolphins for the first in the AFC East. We've kind of already talked about the Jets back in week 2. Not much to talk about really other than that, so let's kind of give a bit of an update into how they're doing so far. Curtis Martin, there was a lot of talk about him in this game. They talked about his success and how well he had played against the Patriots, and he had some quote about how he wished he could play them 8 games a year. I think the Patriots would disagree because the quote was, in 7 reunions against the Patriots, he had gained more than 100 yards against them 5 times, including 106 yards in the 10-3 Jets victory earlier in the season. And at this point, he was right up, I think it was, what did he say? It was like 17 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. And
that is correct.
Yeah, I think it was 17, and which he would get in this game, of course, because it's Curtis Martin against Patriots.
Backstabber.
And then that gave
7
him
in a row, right?
Yeah, for his first 7 seasons in a row. And he was one of only 3 guys to do it. It was Barry Sanders and someone else.
Eric Dickerson.
Yes, thank you. Hey, we didn't even need to fact check that. Look at you guys.
Jeez.
I know. I've been hearing whispers that we need to tighten up our game.
Well, we actually have to get these stats right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I beg to differ, but
doesn't feel right, does it? Also, I think we touched on it last time, but the Patriots have lost the last 4 games against the Jets now, and 7 of the last 8 meetings. So beating the Jets, not something that happens often. Probably most of that was usually because Bill Belichick was on the other side line in some of those other games, but not anymore. But I don't believe, if they had lost the last 4, he hadn't beaten the Jets up until this game. So this is his first time of him beating the Jets as the Patriots head coach. Historic.
Way to give it away, Andy.
I know. You just, I don't know, man.
Did you boys not watch the game? Do you not know how this is going to end?
Yeah, but they don't. We gotta build up to it, my friend.
No.
No.
My podcast, I do what I want.
That's fair. I mean, I guess we can gloss over the fact that some personnel did change in this game.
All right, talk to me.
Santana Moss actually became a little bit more involved this time around.
Correct, because he had been injured up until the week before, and he caught his first catch in this game. I think it was the first quarter. It went for of his career, and it went for like 33 yards.
It was a legit catch.
Yeah.
He kept the ball. I thought that was pretty interesting.
He caught the ball and walked off with it. Didn't even go back in the huddle.
He
probably still does, yeah. He does. Let's see. All right, I guess we'll just jump into the game. Talk about there's a game of 2 halves. The first half was the Jets half. The second half was the Patriots half. Steve, what do you think about this first half? Did you have anything that jumped out at you?
Well, to set the stage, it was 53 degrees in December. Sounds like global warming started early.
Oh, yeah.
Hot take. No pun intended.
Literally a hot take.
Yeah, so the Patriots Dynasty started global warming.
Oh, boy. Now everyone's going to get on our case. You've gone and done it, Steve.
So it's their fault the earth is flat, too, I'm assuming.
All right. I guess we're going to have to talk about this. What do you guys think about all this stuff? Go.
No. I mean, if you watch that first drive, that first 10 minutes of the game, where Tyler slips, gave up that touchdown, Jets are coming off the bye and won at home. Crowd was real into it.
Oh yeah,
Patriots were down 10-0 super early. Then Testaverde had 100 yards passing. They couldn't stop him.
Whoa! Yep. Are you recapping the entire game right now?
Holy no, first half, bud. 10 minutes.
I know, but man, we're blowing through material here. What are we going to talk about for the next? I mean,
they called
minutes?
A flea flicker on the second drive, on the first play.
Yeah, it was awesome.
First play of the game, a deep shot. They were coming out flinging it.
Yeah, because they weren't known. I mean, it's Vinny Testaverde is a quarterback, so they're not exactly known for chucking the ball down the field. But I think at one point they had 8 passes to 2 runs or something like that. They were tilted heavily, at least in the first quarter and a half towards the passing game, and they were slinging it all over the place.
Yeah, they were bombs.
Yeah. And the Pats were doing a whole shit ton of nothing.
He was 38 doing this.
I believe, yeah. That's what we decided last time. He was right around there.
He's definitely 38. So, they said it.
So pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, that was impressive 38-year-old Tom Brady.
Yo, I was looking up Testaverde's stats. Dude, yeah. His 1988 season. I found his numbers. Ridiculous. He got drafted by the Bucs when they were shitty.
Oh, yeah.
So in 15 games, he had a 47% completion percentage.
Whoa.
3,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 35 picks.
What?
And then he started every game the next year.
I mean, that kind of sounds like Jameis Winston a little bit.
Minus the touchdowns.
Was it a first-round pick?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. When was he drafted, Greg?
87. So that was his second.
What round was he drafted? How high was he drafted?
Remember, he was a stud at Miami.
Right. Yeah.
With the U. So he was really highly touted coming out of school, but then he got drafted by a shitty team. So I think they just gave him 4 or 5 years to just you can't lose your job type of deal.
Yeah. Holy shit, he was. He was drafted first overall in the 87 draft.
And then he had a ton of. He never threw for more touchdowns and picks for the Bucs. And he got slightly better when he went to the Browns. And he had 2 Pro Bowl seasons and 21 seasons that he played.
One with Baltimore, which I don't even remember.
Yeah, his career yardage numbers are top 20 ever, just because he played for so long.
Played for the Pats too.
Yeah, but yeah, he always sucked.
Yeah,
he sucked for a long time.
I mean,
he was solidly mediocre in some of these seasons. It looks like 3,000, 3,500 yards, 20-ish touchdown. Well, all right, 17-ish touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, he just played forever.
Is he a bust as a first overall if you played 21 years?
No. Anybody that played 21 years can't be a bust.
Yeah, but he's never been good.
He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. Thank you very much. Never been good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bust.
He's a bust.
He's like Jameis Winston.
Dude.
That's what I'm saying. Minus the crab stealing.
I'd rather
know that.
I don't know. We didn't have social media back then. I'm a big Testaverde fan, FYI.
Why is that?
He's just the man.
So I had a question.
It's a hot take, Mike.
I don't know where else to go with it. Of course he sucks.
So can any of you spell his name without looking? Because yes. I try it every time and I get it wrong every time.
That's because you don't speak Spanish. Testa Green.
Ooh, that's a good way to remember that.
So what does Testa stand for?
Ooh, stat check.
I thought you were going to make something up about testicles, but all right. Yeah, check that stat.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right, so he's checking that. Let's talk about...
Greenhead.
Greenhead?
It's head. So Testaverde is Greenhead. And he plays for the Jets.
Oh, it's...
Look at this.
It's serendipity. That's what that is, right, Mike?
Breaking new ground.
I'm baffled by all of this, but
See, that right there is something nobody's ever said about Benito Testaverde, I think.
Italian, not Spanish.
I don't know. Oh boy,
this is going downhill quickly.
It's something.
Kind of like this first half did. It went downhill very quickly because the Jets defensive ends were basically doing whatever the fuck they wanted. And there was a lot of talk about... What are you going to say, Steve?
67 total yards.
Yeah, in the half. And there was a lot of talk about how, let's see how Brady does when he has the same sort of issues that Drew Bledsoe has, talking about no offensive line, no time to throw it, no running game, which was basically this game. And
I thought that was interesting too, because we've seen shades of it during this season, that Brady kind of like had a shitty game or whatever because of maybe a little bit of pressure. This one was definitely the first one, I think, that every play was just he was getting hammered. So obviously they changed it up. I mean, the announcers were even talking about how Weiss was changing up the game plan so that they were kind of doing the dinking and dunking, the slants, the like screens, that sort of thing. Do you think, because I don't remember Bledsoe ever really doing that, and I know he's not a finesse passer anyway, but do you think that Bledsoe would have been successful in that type of system?
That's a good question. It never really seemed to be the strength of Bledsoe's game. I can still picture at least a few plays that I may have made up in my mind or that actually happened where he would overthrow a guy in the flat or overthrow a screenplay just because he doesn't really have touch. He's more of a gun it down the field sort of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know if that was just, the offense was tailored to that, and so he was more...
You laughing at the background noise?
Yeah, I was.
Again, living in LA, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right next door.
That'll get cut. So I don't know if like they tailored a down the field offense because of Drew Bledsoe and his strength was chucking down the field, or if that's just how they did it, so he played that game and like didn't have the opportunity to do more short stuff. But I don't know.
I don't think he had the decision making either.
He didn't seem that quick, and that was always the knock on him, was that he would pat the ball 3 times and get sacked, right? Wasn't that his MO?
He'd be like in someone's arms and he'd just like throw the ball up.
Right.
Like
That's true.
Give up on a play. Like you can't.
And you got to read the defense in like, what is it, like 3 steps?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I guess he was like the starting quarterback for a long enough time that he probably would have come across a couple of screens or some short stuff.
It's true, and I feel like we kind of shit on Bledsoe a lot. So I will say that I think, well, you do too. You literally just did. but I think that that part of it also made him like successful too for a long time, because he kind of was for a long time the only thing that the Patriots had. And so we did have that drive to always try to finish a play, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. Which
something happened.
Yeah, and I think it always like that. He would try that in every play because he was kind of so maybe overwhelmed because he had no protection, he had no weapons, he had no anything. It was like just him.
Deshaun.
So,
I got to compare. I got
Jared comparison.
Goff. Jared Goff.
You think?
Yeah, you give him weapons and a good coach, he'll play great. Bad team, he's gonna look out of his depth.
I don't know if it's that big of a swing. I think Drew Bledsoe had enough talent that he could still pull himself through some games, but I think he had that mentality of always having to try and make something happen that it kind of led to a lot of bad decisions. I think is what
Goff has that too. Don't you think? Goff is a gunslinger,
I guess.
I mean,
But
would you say
Goff-
that Bledsoe's a little like tougher than Goff? I feel like Bledsoe would at least stand in there and take it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think you ever really see Bledsoe get as confused as Goff does. Like Goff in that Super Bowl against the Patriots, he had no idea what was going on. I don't know if that's just because like that's how he was coached and the coaching let him down, or if he's just not a good decision maker. But Bledsoe, I mean, he would make stupid decisions, but he would also perform kind of on his own too, you know?
Well, I was just wondering, does he hold the ball long enough to come off as not knowing what's going on? Because I mean, he'd throw a pick before he analyzed it. So
That's fair.
maybe Goff just looks it because he might hold the ball on a little longer. I'm not sure. I mean, like you guys said, he do the interception over his head toss once a game.
Yeah. I mean, what did I call him? Butt clench Bledsoe?
Works for me.
Yeah, because every time he draws back on third down, you just like tighten up just
Fuck
reflexively. Ooh, yeah.
He was a nice man, okay? And I think he makes good wine. I haven't tried it yet, but the word on the street is he makes good wine. He's a nice man.
Maybe we should do an episode
Where
where we all order a bottle of wine,
Yep.
drink it before we do the episode, and we'll do a review of
I like
Bledsoe
this.
wine.
I got the perfect game.
I'm doing the Cabernet.
His first game when he plays for the Bills.
That's a good idea. That's a hell of an idea.
Ooh. I mean, I think I think that's a pretty good idea. All right, so we'll put that in the
You guys
back
actually
pocket.
have to drink though, because I'm going to commit, and I don't want to come off stupid on here. God forbid.
God forbid. You got a reputation to uphold.
No comment.
Right.
Ooh. I got bad news.
What's the bad news?
It's like $100 a bottle.
Andy.
Oh,
Andy.
boy.
I
All
mean,
right,
by that
so
point, the ratings are going to be coming in. So
This thing, yeah.
we may have to start a Patreon to get some, or maybe a GoFundMe. See if people donate to us.
it's $100 a bottle.
I'm fine. I'm going to see what the cheapest one is.
I mean, not
All
that
right.
that's a problem for me, but
I mean, we are podcasters. We're not made of money here.
Let's be real. By the time we get to that Bills game, we're all going to be rich and famous. So whatever.
that's
All
the
right.
idea.
Yeah.
I
Well,
do
maybe
like this idea though.
All right, here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to crowdfund this via the Bills Mafia. Because if anybody, one, likes to raise money and two, likes to drink, it's the Bills Mafia.
That's true.
So this does seem like a good cause. So we'll have to see if we can reach out to them.
Yeah, so listen to this. I'm on its website here.
Hmm.
The president and director of winemaking, it says, is Josh McDaniels.
The Josh McDaniels?
I don't know. There, it's a crazy coincidence.
How many are there out there? Wow, because Josh McDaniels was part of the team here, wasn't he? What was he doing?
He's like offensive assistant.
Yeah, wasn't he? Well, didn't he start the QB coach? Do I have that wrong?
Oh boy, we got to stat check this.
2001 as a personnel assistant, and then a defensive coaching assistant working with defensive backs. And then he was, in 2004, he became team's quarterback coach. So I was off for a little bit. But yeah, he was on the team in 2001. This is his first season.
I mean, with such a unique name like that, it can't be a different person.
I mean, and they do have that overlap. You would think it's the same.
It's a different person.
No.
Get out of
I
town.
just brought up his bio. Born and raised in Walla Walla, and at an early age fell in love with the wine industry. Josh McDaniels. Washington State with Bledsoe.
What are the odds of that?
Dude, that's hilarious.
It's a beautiful
So
story.
Drew Bledsoe knows in his work with two separate Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it worked out for him.
I wonder which one he likes better.
2 times.
I know what my guess is.
I'm on his LinkedIn. I'm going to drop him a line. Yeah.
Yeah, see if we can get some bottles donated, Greg.
Dude, I'm connecting with him.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, the review will go a long way for them. So I think they should. What is it? 4 bottles, $400. It's not bad.
We have tens of listeners too.
Yeah, I mean,
We have 20s of listeners.
Dude, by the time this one gets released, we might have like.
All right. So here's the issue. I just went to howmanyofme.com, which you can search for people with your first and last name.
Oh,
I've done this. There are a lot of Andrew Browns. Just gonna, spoiler alert. There are 38,075 people in the United States with the first name Josh. There are 8,477 people last name McDaniels. There is one person. There is one person in the United States named Josh McDaniels, according to this website.
This is bullshit because we just determined that there's two of them.
Yeah. My whole life is a lie.
Holy shit. Wait a minute. What if Josh McDaniels from the Patriots is lying about his identity on the website?
Maybe he changed his name when he got married. Maybe
I wasn't
their wife's name.
Maybe he's embarrassed to deal with. I don't know, man. I'm confused. So I'm just gonna step away from this conversation.
So are we thinking that there aren't 4,565 Andrew Browns in the United States?
There's definitely way more.
Way more.
One Josh.
Didn't you say there's 3,000 McDaniels?
8,000 McDaniels. 8,400.
8,000. Do you know how many people are in the United States?
Yeah.
Lots.
300.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Greg is right.
How many?
So
300 plus million.
Yeah, all right.
So I don't know. I have my doubts about this website.
I think the real question is, though, what is there more, Andy, Greg, or Steve Browns?
But you want to know something funny? Is at where I went to college, there's a kid the grade below me, Gregory D. Brown.
No shit.
Yeah, we're Facebook friends. He's kind of a loser.
Do you want to put it out there and like reach out to him? Like, do you have some beef or something that you want to squash and put it out there right now?
No.
All right. So I set up a Google News alert for my name because you can just set up for any search term.
You would.
And so every week I get a list of all the Andrew Browns in the news. There is a defensive lineman for the Bengals, is probably the most famous other than me.
Haven't we done this?
Brown. Have we?
Yeah, and Steve's the yo-yo guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were looking up, we were Googling your name, and remember I found a lot of murderers and a lot of other stuff named Andy Brown.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good guys.
Of Andy Browns, so we can't go off of that.
I think there's a lot of Southern Andy Browns that
here's the bigger question.
have trouble with the law.
What I'm fascinated by is why do you have a Google alert on your name?
Because I want to see how Google Alerts worked. And I thought it'd be funny because I've heard of people with like actual interesting names do it. I'm like, oh, what'll show up on me? And so there's a park named after me in Texas that I want to go visit. I learned things from it. So I think it was a good investment.
Sounds
fascinating. I have to say I haven't met a lot of Mike Mellows, but I'll keep an eye out.
All right.
When I worked at Movie Scene, I put a flag on every single Steve Brown's account and said, I live down the street, call me if he comes in. And I was working, and Steve Brown came in to write a movie. He was like 45 years old. It was strange, but we had a nice chat about nicknames.
Oh, boy.
See? I'm missing all of these interactions. They got to get a better name, I guess.
Yeah, the Brown really gives you a head start as a last name.
All right, so I sent Josh a LinkedIn request. And I said, big fan of the wine. Let's connect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I don't want to,
No, yeah, dude, doing the slow play. I like that.
I want to spook him. I want to really.
So wait, do you have the podcast in your LinkedIn though?
No.
Okay, so you can't track back. Of course not. By the time this episode comes out, that's going to be the only thing on my LinkedIn. Probably because I've been fired from my real job for spending so much time doing this.
Oh, dude.
Oh, don't admit that. Don't admit that.
Yo, I'm logged in under Kelly's.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Hey,
That's probably better.
That might work.
All right, I'll report back next week. Oops.
See,
Sorry, Kelly.
Case.
Regularly on Kelly's LinkedIn.
Well, I have to use the computer because mine won't log into Zoom.
Oh, that's right.
I brought up LinkedIn and it was already logged in.
Oh boy,
It's a happy accident.
yeah, I think that'll work out for the best. for everybody involved, including Kelly. We'll give her some of the wine if we get some.
Yep. All right.
All right. So speaking of the Jets football game, first half bad, second half good. So the Pats go into the half down 13-0. And what'd you say, Steve? They had 60-something yards of total offense?
7 total yards.
Yeah, so not a lot.
But to be fair, though, the defense did okay against the Jets. I mean, considering they were slinging it and they had some momentum early on, like they sometime before the half, I think it was in the first quarter, they had that goal line stand. So they could have been down 2 touchdowns real quick, and they stuffed the offense at the 1. So that made it what? They were down by 10. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was the first quarter, yeah.
And Teddy Bruschi came in with the stop, the final one.
Oh, man. Yeah, him and Brian Cox. It was Curtis Martin tried to jump over the pile and just hit a brick wall of the two of them. It's beautiful.
That's a huge play.
Yeah, and this was Brian Cox's first game back from when he broke his leg in Denver.
Yep.
So because there was an article in the Globe about how he recovered from a broken leg quicker than Terry Glenn recovered from his quote-unquote hamstring injury.
Dude,
man, hamstrings are tough, man.
I guess.
My sneaky surprise of the season.
What was your sneaky surprise of the season?
Brian Cox.
He's
awesome, dude.
Dude,
the way he plays, he's just a monster.
Yeah, he was screaming at the refs for something. I don't even remember what it was.
I have a note on it. It was like on the field goal attempt. The Patriots ahead. The Jets were offsides or false.
Yes.
Start and the refs called it, and he was just
he was livid.
Mad.
Yeah, he had to get pulled away from the referee so he wouldn't get another 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh yeah,
literally dragged away.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Really imagine if she was mic'd up. That'd be amazing.
Oh, man. Well, I posted a link to the NFL primetime highlight video, mainly for Greg because he never watches the game. But at the end of it, they had an interview with him. And he was basically saying, yeah, we actually played like shit, but we still beat the Jets. So it'll be nice if, we can. It's nice that we can still not play very good and beat a team like this. So I'm excited for when we actually play good. And that was the whole interview.
Is that word for word?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was verbatim.
Oh, boy.
It wasn't, but.
My favorite quote of that was, because it was Chris Berman, obviously, primetime.
Oh, yeah.
There was a point where the pass receiver, Coleman, caught it, and he got tackled by Coleman. And he's like, I haven't seen this many Coleman since LL Bean put a sail on those little pots.
All those little grill things. It wasn't as smooth as lime, but he got there.
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny.
I miss NFL primetime so badly.
So
that was real quick.
First ever catch. He had 2 whole career.
As a Patriot? Or in general?
Yeah,
his entire career?
Yeah, his entire NFL career.
Holy crap.
And that was one of them. That was a big catch.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Nope.
So it was to open the second half, they got a couple first downs, and then they hit him for 45-yarder all the way down. So
this is the beginning of the half. Pats got the ball and went backwards immediately. I think it was a run got stuffed, and then Brady got sacked, and they went 3 and out. And they punted. The punting in this game was horrendous. And so Ken Walter managed to punt it to his own 35. So Jets got the ball at the New England 35, and then Vrabel picks off the batted ball a couple plays later.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was that big play to Coleman, his one of 2 ever catches, which goes for 35 yards.
The Pats, I think, punted 6 or 7 straight times before they did anything.
Yes, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think there were 6 at least.
Yeah. So they punted on all 5.
Most of them sucked. One of them though went to the 1 yard line, so that was helpful, I think.
That's true.
Can we talk about Tom Tupa, Mike? Have we touched on that?
Dude, no, but we could do a whole like thing on him because the year before, there's all kinds of stuff that ties into the dynasty, but that's for another day. But Tom Tupa,
maybe we'll do a punter episode just for Mike.
All right, because I don't know if like Greg remembers anything about Tom Tupa, but there was a game against the Pats like before this season where he came in as a quarterback. He was lighting it up. And there's a lot of things that are tied into that guy in that game the year prior. So
the game when Vinny got hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And he threw a touchdown to Keyshawn Johnson.
Yes.
Pretty
he
sick.
is also, when he was a member of the Browns, Bill Belichick's Browns, he was the first ever player to score a 2-point conversion.
Oh, no shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was on a fake field goal attempt, and he was the holder.
And for those that don't know, he's a quarterback punter combo.
He was drafted by, I believe, the Cardinals as a quarterback, and then they converted. He punted in college, so they eventually converted him to punter.
Yeah, he was an All-American punter in college.
Yeah, as well as a starting quarterback.
And get this, as a child, he was obviously the punt, pass, and kick semifinalist 3 times. And
no.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I remember that. That was awesome.
I mean, obviously, right? He's a quarterback and a kicker. He's going to be fucking winning punt, pass, and kick.
Should fucking hope so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
It's great. Saves a roster spot, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Emergency quarterback.
Yep.
Before we go too far into the second half, I just wanted to say that there were a couple of like drives that Brady like struggled with. One, he got like blasted by Mo Lewis, and like I thought like came across my mind where I'm like, what if he just happened to go through what Bledsoe went through, and then he just lost his job and we never hear anything again?
I actually wrote down that my note from Mo Lewis was that he was trying to kill both of the Patriots quarterbacks because although on that play, like it looked really bad in real time, but then you could see actually eased up at the end of that hit.
Oh, really? I missed that part.
Yeah, just barely. But I think he may have had something on his conscience about almost killing Drew Bledsoe.
It certainly wasn't like roughing the passer flags. I don't think I've seen a single one of those yet this year.
No. We've seen a few that probably should have been, where Brady will slide and still get lit up.
Right.
Like a helmet to the face mask sort of thing. But yeah, no, I don't think we've seen one yet that I can remember.
Well, and then the other thing that like stuck out to me in the first half was so Brady had a fumble that was actually incomplete, right? So his arm is moving forward. The announcer's freaking out that it's called the open hand rule. And they were debating on if it was an incomplete, if it was a fumble. Then literally the same drive, Brady fumbles. His hand's moving backwards.
I think it was the
out.
next play.
It might have been the next play. And I thought it was pretty funny because it seemed like, based on what the announcers were talking about, it wasn't like a familiar thing already as it stood. So I thought it was like pretty good foreshadowing for later in the season.
Yeah, no kidding. But I actually had a note on that too because it was right at the end of the half. So the Patriots had the ball with like 2 minutes left, and it was an obvious forward pass. And like even in real time, you could tell it was a forward pass. Mm-hmm. But the Jets challenged it anyway and lost their last timeout. And so then the Patriots ran the clock down to like 30 seconds before they punted it. And so the Jets got the ball back with 29 seconds I have. And so instead of being able to like take a couple shots to get within field goal range, which at this point probably would have been the game-winning field goal, they have to try a Hail Mary, which they tried the Hail Mary, and that was probably one of the most bizarre plays we've seen this season because Vinny Testaverde gets strip sacked, Curtis Martin recovers it, and runs for like 20, 30 yards, gets like inside the red zone before getting tackled.
Dude, I can't believe that he didn't try to lateral that.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit like the beginning of the Miami Miracle to me.
Oh, the announcers thought he was going all the way. They were so excited.
Well, he broke a couple tackles, and you're like, uh-oh.
Dude, the announcers, though, man, Brent Jones, we already have a history with that guy. But did he not seem like he was jacked up for this game? Like something was off. Every statement he had was like a hyperbole. He was like losing his mind.
So I'm a little self-conscious about talking about commentators, but since you brought them up, I have some things here.
Do they tie into the things that I have?
No, probably not. I don't listen to the game the way you listen to the game.
Wow.
Brent Jones, at the beginning of the game.
Did you just call me stupid?
And I quote, "The Jets are just as explosive as the Rams on offense."
I mean, for a drive and a half.
Exactly. For the first two drives when they actually decided to throw the ball. It's like, well, they have speed on the outside with these little receivers, and they have Curtis Martin to keep you honest. I'm like, it's not quite the same, Brent, but okay. And then they went to game break with, what's his name that they always go to the game break to? They go to New York.
Kurt?
No. I can't remember. But the game break was a Colts game, and I guess Peyton Manning must be throwing a lot of interceptions this year because they showed, I guess it was against the Ravens, and they showed the Ravens score a touchdown. And then right at the end, they slipped in the line of, and Manning has not been picked off to this point. And it was like halfway through the first quarter.
Well, I think he throws a bunch. Like there's a game where he had thrown like 4.
Yeah, he threw a
I
lot.
thought when you mentioned that, I thought that they meant all year, but they were talking about that game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and it was early in the first quarter.
Hey, I got a stat check for you.
All right.
On that explosive offense comment.
Yes.
The Jets finished the season with the 17th ranked offense in the NFL.
Oh, wow. That's a good call there, Greg.
Pretty explosive.
Like
Rams
how many?
Patriots were 6th.
Ooh.
Really?
And this is going by points scored.
Okay. What about by yards gained?
Let me look at stat guy here. Jets were 24th in yards.
Well, okay. So that didn't help Brent's argument at all either.
I will say, though, to Brent's defense, this is the first game that I've actually been more annoyed with Gus Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I didn't really
his
notice
fake
Gus
laugh
saying anything.
was driving me nuts. He was doing the like the whole game. It was. I don't know if it was because Brent is just insane and he's just sick of him, or if because Gus has nothing else to add. But that.
I mean, my guess is that
irritating.
Brent Jones was getting riled up, and Gus Johnson didn't want to get smacked around up there. They're together in a booth, so you got to kind of like.
Did you hear the little thing that they got into where it showed like Santa Claus and like shit on his lap, and then Brent goes, "Gus, maybe if you get married, you could have a son sitting on Santa's lap." And he's like, "I hope so." And then Brent is like, "I hope you get married. You hope you get married, or you hope you have a son." And then there's like silence. It was super awkward. And then Gus goes, "You're putting me on a tough spot here, buddy." And then he went back to the game. But that laugh was driving me nuts.
It's because he wanted to sit on Santa's lap. That's what he's hoping for.
And ask for what?
A son. I don't know.
Ooh, there's something deeper there. So I'll look into it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna leave that one alone. We said enough dumb shit today. But did you notice how excited Brent Jones was about the height of the grass?
No, I missed that one.
On and on about how the edges of the field had taller grass, and the middle was much softer and shorter and easier to run in, but the outside was easier to cut on. And every time the ball went to the outside or there was a run up the middle, he would comment about the grass. And I don't know why. I don't know if he'd like learned something new, and that was his stat that he was going to keep going on.
Did you pick out last time that he was like obsessed with Canadian blue seats? Was that the same guy?
Canadian blue steel, wasn't it?
Oh, steel, yeah, but it was the seat color.
I think that was him.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
So maybe he's into details, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Maybe.
You know, his daughter played for the Boston Breakers, the women's professional soccer team.
Oh, girl.
They're not.
She won 2 NCAA championships at UNC.
Oh, so she's big time.
Big time. Hot shot.
That's pretty
Man,
sweet.
athletic families, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I did have some questions though. If you guys want to help me out again.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
let's do this.
It's a Brent Jones game, so we know this is going to happen.
So football, not football. Give it to
Football
me.
or not football? Yep. All right, here we go. I'll just start with the first one that I have. This one was about Lawyer Malloy, apparently, and he was saying that's exactly what they want to do: get him out of the box, let Curtis Martin start to pound it up in there. Now, based on past episodes, I think that the box is like kind of like where the running back is or kind of runs to.
Yeah,
I didn't get
I think we've talked about that before in terms of the box is kind of it's an imaginary box that surrounds both the offensive and defensive line, and it's kind of how many people are in that little area.
Yeah. Also,
it's also a euphemism for vagina, Mike.
Which is why it's confused. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, no, but it also seems a little like selfish too. That's exactly what they want to do: get Lawyer Malloy out of the box and let Curtis Martin start to pound it up in there. I just thought that was a little selfish.
Yeah, they call it the clam in the CFL, not the box.
They call it the what?
Clam.
No shit. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty Canadian to me. Yeah, I would believe that.
You get an 8-guy clam.
All right, so it's the getting him out of the box means getting him out of that area, and then that would allow Curtis Martin to like pound it through there. Is that what they mean?
Clam.
Yeah, to
through the clam.
Call the clam.
Well, now when you put it like that, that sounds horrible.
Well, he can hit the hole with juice.
Okay, but that was about passing though. So I guess you could like say the same thing. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's informative.
Okay. What else?
Next one was Tom Brady doesn't see Mo Lewis coming, who has a full head of steam and gets it off just in time. What is that?
I just wonder how your mind works sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Dude, Brett Jones throws out new terms every time. I'm just fascinated. I'm like, oh, shit. Sometimes I'm sort of fascinated with what he's saying that I miss a player or two, if you can believe it.
So, all right, read that back to me again.
All right. So Tom Brady doesn't see Mo Lewis coming, who has a full head of steam and gets it off just in time.
Okay. All right. So I think I know. So my guess, I'm not able to see the play in real time, but I think Tom Brady is probably dropped back to pass. And I think the Mo Lewis coming is he's running at him, probably to try for a sack, as you know. And so Tom Brady getting it off, I think, is throwing the ball before Mo Lewis gets there.
Yes,
that makes
Tom
sense.
Brady's blindfolded and Mo Lewis busts a nut on his face. One of the two.
Oh, Jesus, man. Oh, I can't believe you just said that.
Right?
Boy.
That's dirty.
Can we?
Yeah, what the hell?
Real talk.
Oh, my God. That's insane, dude. Okay, I don't think it's that, Steve, but I appreciate the effort.
What were you going to say, Greg?
I was going to say, real talk, like, after we first did this segment, I tried to, like, listen for these, and I couldn't do it. So this is, like, a unique skill, Mike.
This is what I'm saying. His brain works differently than mine.
He's got, like, 4 for every game.
We're all listening for them.
I tried not to. I want to know everything, but I'm very confused. I got
right,
2 more, and we'll
3.
be done with this.
All right.
So next one. So we mentioned the box, so we get that, and I think now this is a little silly bringing this up, but I'll just say it anyway. The quote was, "We've talked about 8 men in the box. How about 8 men in the end zone?"
Oh my.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Oh, okay. All right. So, we know what the box is, right? We just discussed that.
Correct.
So, I remember this play
Right.
because this is right at the end. This is the Hail Mary we're talking about, and the Patriots unveiled a new defensive scheme.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Where they had 8 of their players lined up basically in the end zone to knock down a Hail Mary because they wanted to have more guys than on defense than the offense sent down wide receivers. Because usually if it's a Hail Mary, you're sending at least 4, if not 5 wide receivers down into the end zone. So you want to have more than that to cover them.
Gotcha.
So it's a unique situation.
That was the first time that was done because Brent Jones seemed to think that was a new.
It's the first time Brent Jones ever saw it. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you meant to put 8 in the box and they end up in the end zone, you're in big trouble.
That's very true.
Wow. See, I'm learning a lot of stuff. And the last one, those defensive ends of the Jets get wide so much that we're going to use some draw action to come on underneath them. I don't know what that even means at all.
All right. Okay. All right. I know this one too because we talked about this a little bit where the Jets defensive ends were getting a lot of quick pressure on Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, they're destroying them.
Yeah. So, but if you think about the way they run, because they're coming off the ends, they're going out wide around usually the guys that are trying to block them to close in on Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
So because they're giving that space, there's a lot of space in the middle. So the Patriots were mitigating that by running draw plays where you drop back and it looks like you're going to pass it, but then you hand it off to the running back on a delay usually.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And then they run where those defensive linemen used to be.
That makes sense.
Right?
I mean, I don't know. I think that makes sense. Do you guys agree?
I stopped listening after the third one.
All right. Well, then I appreciate your help, guys, and I'm a little bit smarter for that, so thank you.
All right.
The real question is, Mike, how did you not get on the quarterback sneak where Vinny Testaverde touched his center's dick when they ran off straight ahead?
He goosed
What the
him.
hell are you? What?
Yeah, goosed him.
He goosed him.
Oh, is that what they were talking about?
Yeah. That was literally sexual. Brent Jones was talking about not enjoying being goosed.
Well, I heard about the goose and he was freaking out about that. I
Kind of
didn't know that
slapped
that's
the
what it was.
grundle, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That's what he was talking about for real?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what
What?
they do.
See, I
They
missed
literally
that one.
goose them. Yeah. It's a physical tell for the center to snap the ball immediately and run like hell.
I think you made a joke about how, like,
No, it's literally like slapping a horse and running after it.
Just tug on his cock.
See, it's hard to tell with this guy. I don't know.
It's Brent Jones with everybody.
The elephant walking. Wow.
So I think this is the perfect time to do best and worst. Steve, you go first.
well, I was going to say that, but we just covered that.
No, you can still use it if you want. That's all yours.
I think best bit was how stoked Belichick was at the end of the game.
Yeah, he was excited.
All reserved, but this is his first win against the Jets. Clearly hates the Jets like I do. And at the end of the game, he's running around, he's yelling, he's grabbing all his players, he's like screaming.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
That's a good one. Do you have a worst?
It's
tough to have a worst when you beat the Jets.
Right, where the Jets were just absolutely whooping them up, and that slip by Ty Law and that slant that just gave him a walk-in
Yeah,
touchdown. Terrible start.
that was not great. All right, Greg, give me your best and worst.
All right, my best was Antoine Smith on that reception.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
That his acceleration came out of nowhere.
It didn't look like him.
It
He
didn't.
was like Kevin Falk.
That shades. Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that.
People. And then my worst was just Curtis Martin in general because he's a cunt.
And that is punt for everyone out there.
He's a dual running back punter.
All right, Mike, give me your best and worst.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, he's awesome, but
It's not his fault.
we have reason to. And it isn't. He got traded, man. What can you do?
Yeah.
Best for me was so it right after like one of the Patriots touchdowns. There was a kick return that was gonna break it, and I think that would have been the end of the game. And Vinatieri comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
So to your credit, man, you brought this up at the beginning of this podcast where you're like, Vinatieri's the beast, and I didn't realize it, but after seeing the clip that you showed, and then this has happened twice in this season alone.
Yeah.
He ran down the returner as the last guy and saved the touchdown. And that drive, they ended up getting a field goal. But if that was a touchdown, game over.
Yeah, because that was what wasn't that?
Herschel Walker, the clip you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was
Yeah,
trying to figure out.
quote somewhere. I think it was someone on the Jets saying that's the fastest kicker they've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
Dude, he was
the.
hauling ass.
It was right after the Patriots' first touchdown. It was that ensuing kickoff.
Right, because it was
Yeah.
7-13, and after that it was 7-16. But
Yep.
the game would have been over.
Right, exactly.
So that's pretty
yeah,
awesome.
because one of the commentators was like, that's the fastest kicker I've ever seen. You're right, Greg.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those he has in his career, but I know of 3
Yep.
at the moment. And then worst moments, I would go pretty much what Steve said, but the opposite end of it, where Bill was so happy, he was smiling, he was high-fiving and hugging, and I just know that a few years later we're never going to see that again. It made me sad. So my worst is that he was happy at one point, now he's not.
All right, then.
I'm serious.
That's
Jesus.
the only I've ever heard one.
Oh, boy.
Yep. And we established 2004 is when he sold his soul, and we'll get to that.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. My best is the game-winning play. Patriots, the Jets have used their last time out. They need a first down. It's 3rd and I think like 3 or 4. And the Patriots run a bootleg with Tom Brady. But the defensive end steps right in the way, and he basically just cuts it back upfield and runs for a first down all by himself to win the game.
Dude, I forgot that. And he spun as well.
Yeah.
He did the spin and he dove, and he got the first.
And he picked up the first by like the nose of the football too. Like it was close. And that was the game winner. So that's by far my best. Because that's just
a good one.
That's Tom Brady being Tom Brady before everybody knew it was Tom Brady. So my worst was going to be the Page 2 article that I found by Bob Halloran, who has a hard-on for Drew Bledsoe. But I think it's actually going to work better later because he has a few of them. So we're going to actually get in depth into some of the more egregious ones. So I'm going to say my worst is the Jets fans for 2 reasons. One was Fireman Ed.
Yeah.
What a fucking hardo. And every time they cut to him, they were showing him try to pump up the crowd, even though the Jets were on offense every fucking time.
That shot of him sitting on his boy's shoulders like a chick at a concert.
Yeah. Just waving his hat around like Oh. And then they also kept talking about how the Jets fans' unofficial mascot is Shrek because he's green and they win ugly.
Yeah.
I
don't even remember that being a thing, but they did keep showing it.
I don't remember being
coming out that early. Like, is Shrek that old?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Mike went to school for that. Mike, how old was Shrek?
When I went to school a few years ago, it was already out.
Because this is 2001.
Right.
So we had just gone.
Yeah, it had come out recently, and I will say this because I went to a lovely school of RIT, and I went for computer animation, and when I was taking the tour, because nobody knew what computer animation was really, Toy Story had come out and Shrek was recently out. We took a tour. They're like, hey, man, these computers in this lab is what they use to work on Shrek with. And we're all like, what, dude? That is crazy. I got to go here. And then I went there, and I'll leave it at that. So
a story for another day, apparently.
Yes, but there's shades of your Penn State, experiences and whatever. We can go into that another time. But to confirm, yes, Shrek was out and doing well.
How many helicopter cocks were there at RIT, Mike?
How many what?
Helicopter cocks.
Ooh, I didn't see any. It was a different type of environment out there.
A lot of deaf people at RIT, right?
Yeah, National Technical Institute of the Deaf, yes, was right near there. And I was in a room that was a deaf room. So people would walk by the hallway and press the button so the strobe would go off. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because you had to have, that was the fire alarm for deaf people, right? Was the strobe?
Right, yeah. But you could press it in the hallway.
Right.
So
that's what everybody did.
Right. No, there's a lot of good things about RIT. So we'll figure them all out down the
All
road.
right. Yeah, we'll get into that.
No
So
helicopter dicks though, man.
Maybe we'll get into that next week when the Patriots travel back home to host the 6-5 Cleveland Browns coming into Foxborough.
Revenge game.
A revenge game? How so? Oh, I guess it is, yeah.
The revenge tour.
He's just stomping everybody.
This is true. So we'll learn more about that next week on the Patriots Dynasty podcast. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.